Welcome to Witch Hat Chats. Come on in and sit for our spell. We're sponsored by Evermoving We Rise, Moonlight Potions and Charms, and Saul Ravencraft, Wizard for Hire. I am Miss Nikki Kirby, your goddess host, and Saul Ravencraft, our co-host, is somewhere around here. Where are you? Saul? Saul? Where are
Here
you
I
at?
am, Nikki. Good to see you. I hope all is well. How are things coming after the big storms?
Oh my gosh, they are so slow coming back. But we are coming forth a little bit slower. Um I tell you, during the recovery, it was just absolutely horrible. Um the day that the storm had hit, it was one of those storms in which, usually when a storm hits, I don't have to do any protections or anything because everything's already up. All
Yeah.
of my boards are up. The dragons are out there looking. I'm cool. But it was just really, really weird that night, and I got up at 5 o'clock in the morning, like I usually do, to go for my walk. And then I looked outside and it's like, I'm not going for my walk. I am not going for my walk.
Right.
I wasn't even make my little Daisy dog go outside to pee. There was just no way I was going to do that. No, 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 no. And so I went right back to sleep. I woke up about 6 o'clock, and it was still really windy, and it was raining. And so I'm like, okay. I went up, I turned on the news. We didn't have a tornado warning at all. No tornado warnings in our area. It was just severe thunderstorms. So I was like, okay, no big deal. So I got up, took my Daisy dog in, and was just still watching the news. And I went outside under my porch to feed my cats. My cats were out there,
Right.
and it was just absolutely black darkness,
Wow.
black darkness. No light, no moonlight, nothing. And I still can see the light from the power, from um the lamps and stuff
Right.
that was outside. But it was still absolutely black. No birds, no nothing, which was kind of weird.
Sure.
But my cats were out there, and so I went and I fed them, and there was no. I mean, you could hear the wind, but it wasn't like. I mean, Saul, you've been in tornadoes before. You know they sound like freight trains when
Hmm.
when you get into a
Right.
tornado. No freight train sounds, nothing. It was just wind. It was just
Right.
high, wind. That's all it was. Nothing really threatening
Hmm.
at that point. And so I'm like, okay. And I heard lightning and a lot of thunder. It was just your basic severe thunderstorms, basically what it was. Not a big deal.
Sure.
And so I was in the kitchen, and of course Daisy was staying close to me because she doesn't like thunderstorms, my little Daisy dog. And suddenly I heard this crack, and I went into the living room, and there was this severe leak straight across, and water started coming down. I thought, oh shit. That was my first thought. And I said, okay. So as soon as I started getting pots and pans and going underneath it and stuff in the trash can, I said,
Right.
I've got to go get a candle, and I got to do protection right now
Right.
underneath it. And that's when my mother decides to get up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when she decides to try to distract me with questions. And I'm like, Mom, I've got to get this protection candle done. I've got to get this protection candle done. Because if I don't, something severe is going to really, really happen. Because that's when, that's when your, I guess you can call this witchy sense starts going off, And
Right.
It wasn't 20 minutes later. That's when I heard this bam, bam, and the power went off completely.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And for the next 2 hours, you heard nothing but wind outside, and it was complete blackness. Complete blackness. And my mom got flashlights. I had the flashlight on my cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I told my mom, I said, Mom, please stop distracting me. I've got to get this candle finished.
Right.
Because I didn't have a candle of protection.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I didn't think it was going to be that bad, especially because by the time we are so far from the coast, by the time it really hits us, it's not really that bad of a storm most of the time. The hurricane's
Right.
really like a tropical storm. It's just like a thunderstorm,
Mm-hmm.
It's not really that bad. This reminded me of Hugo way back in the 90s when I was a teenager, where you saw pine trees bending all the way down to the ground,
Right.
back and forth, and they're not even breaking. That was how bad that storm was
Uh-huh.
back then. And so I was like, this has got to go. And so I lit the candle. And when I lit that candle, nothing else really bad happened in my neighborhood. It was like there was a globe,
Yes.
of protection for my neighborhood. And too bad I didn't lit it before. But anyway, when everything stopped, I went out to see what the damage was, because it was still raining, but it was that what Southerners call mist.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Where it's just a light, it's like a light veil of rain. Now, Californians call that raining cats and dogs,
Uh-huh.
right? We call it mist.
Right.
Okay. And it was great because my across the street, my neighbor's mailbox was literally thrown down the street. And I was like, oh shit, please, my mailbox, please, because my mailbox has had so much problems
Right.
over the years. And I'm like, please, my mailbox be fine. And I ran down the small hill. I'm on like the top of a hill. So I ran down the small hill, and it
Mm-hmm.
was fine. I'm like, thank you.
Right.
And my grass needed to be cut. And you know what? Helen did a better job of cutting my grass than the guy who does it. I was like, hell yeah, thank you. But she took my neighbor's tree, ripped it out of the ground, and tossed it on top of a power line. That's what cut off the power, and then it also burst a transformer. And
Right.
those two things is what took the power out. Plus, on top of that, it blocked a road.
Goodness.
And it was like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I figured somebody had already, in our neighborhood, had already called the town of Forest City, because the town of Forest City is literally the next street over,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because we're like the next street from the school of the new school of Dunbar. And but nobody had called them by noon because
Right.
I was calling them at noon to see when the power was going to come back up. And usually when we have like a power outage, it's like a couple hours and then our power comes back on, and it never did. And so I thought, holy crap. Unknown caller. And it's like, holy crap. And anyway, it never did come back on. And so I called them and they told me, they said, well, it's going to be Saturday before you get your power back on.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, okay, why? And they said, well, there's so many people in front of you. I'm like, well, we're connected to the town. Why is that? And they said, well, it just devastated the whole town.
Oh, yeah.
Which is the first time it's actually devastated our town. Our town was not prepared for this. And our town has sent people down to Florida to help them.
Sure.
And I was like, holy crap. So, well, it turned out to be about 5 days.
Wow.
And in the meantime, we have no transportation. We don't have a car. We had just bought all of our food 2 days before. So we don't have power. We don't have a car. And I'm having to walk uptown to see if there's anybody who can power up our phones. We have no way of to get food. And even if we had like our meats and stuff, we have no way of cooking them because we don't have any camping gear.
Sure.
We have nothing like that.
Right.
And people are fighting over gasoline, of course.
Sure.
The bread is literally gone. The milk is literally gone. They're fighting over ice cubes, for God's sakes.
Sure.
Ice cubes. And it's like, are you kidding me? Ice cubes. And so, one of my boyfriends, and I love him dearly, he has never been in a disaster. And this is what a disaster feels, because you are literally, and I wasn't in the worst situation. There were people who literally in my town had lost their homes. They had lost their lives. Chimney Rock is no longer there. And that's only 20 minutes from me.
Wow.
Lake Lure, you couldn't get to Lake Lure anymore. You couldn't get to Chimney Rock.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I used to work in that town when I was a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys don't know what Chimney Rock or Lake Lure is, you've seen them on films. Dirty Dancing is where they were filmed at.
Right.
Richie Rich is another one. Let's see. Let me think of one other one that I can think of. Oh, the original Firestarter. There you go. That's another one.
Right.
The Last of the Mohicans was where some of them were filmed. I mean, I can name a dozen of them that were filmed up and around there. But Dirty Dancing is the most famous one.
Sure.
They actually give Dirty Dancing tours up there. So, yeah. And a lot of those places were absolutely destroyed. My aunt's house is no longer there. So, like I said, it literally wiped us out. And what really ticks me off is that there is a certain candidate who couldn't keep his mouth shut, who is saying a lot of misinformation,
Right.
claiming that FEMA is not helping us.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, FEMA is giving away their funds to immigrants instead of helping the people of North Carolina, and in particular, Rutherford County, which is where I'm at.
Right.
And so his followers are going here and hurting people in Rutherford County, the FEMA people in Rutherford County. And we've actually had people are being arrested for that.
Yes.
And I'm like, leave the FEMA people alone and let them do their work
Yeah.
and help
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
Okay? We need the damn help. And to the candidate that's running his damn mouth, I'm going to tell you this: shut the hell up. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. Shut the hell up. Because FEMA is doing their work, and they're doing good work.
Right. Have you needed assistance? Have you gotten assistance?
I need assistance. I've applied for it.
Right.
I'm on the line. I have a GoFundMe.
Mm-hmm.
That is out. It's on our credits right there. It's in our notes.
Right.
Because let me tell you something. I've had food poisoning from our food because all of our food had gone.
Right.
I've lost inventory. I've needed help to pay some bills and to restore some housing and stuff like that for Moonlight Potions and Charms, and even help with Chat Chats here. There's things that we need help with. And so I had to start a GoFundMe for that. And like I said, I'm on the wait list for FEMA, and FEMA has been delayed a lot because of this one person who won't shut his damn mouth.
Right.
I get kind of passionate about that.
Yeah, I can.
And you know, we have a lot of in this area, and not only in this area, but in the other areas that are affected by the hurricanes. I'm going to say, number one, for those that are helping us, thank you to the first responders, to the neighbors that are helping each other, for everybody who's coming together. Thank you so much. I can tell you one thing: we're appreciative of it. My neighbors, we all came together. We started helping one another. I've given out information that I have received that have helped others. I tell you, there was one day in which we were all, actually, it was a couple of days, we were all not able to send out any information because we were cut off from the world. We couldn't call out at all. And in my neighborhood, we have a lot of elderly people that are in our neighborhood.
Right.
And we couldn't even dial 911, period. And I'm like, well, what about if somebody had an actual emergency? You know?
Right.
How can we get that person, help? So, like I said, I want to thank the people that have come out and help. I want to thank the FEMA workers. I want to thank the first responders. I want to thank the neighbors that have actually come out and helped, and anybody else that I have not thought of. Medical responders, police officers, the National Guard, anyone else that has actually come out. I like to turn around and thank them because these are our true heroes. All right. These are our true heroes that we need to thank.
Right.
And anyway, so there is my rant for the day. If you can, help us out. And if you're not here to be able to help us out, if you can, donate. If not, share those links. And if you don't know what the hell you're talking about, shut the hell up. Okay? And with that, we will be right back with our wonderful Witch Hat Chats, and we'll have our divination and a more wonderful conversation. Stay tuned. Anybody can tell you what is on a tarot or oracle card. What matters is seeing beyond what others may not be able to see and help the client to uncover what lies in the mist. What do readings from Moonlight Potions and Charms do? Wednesday, I did this ancestor reading, and it was an amazing reading. And it was a detailed reading. And I remember talking to this customer's ancestors, and it was so delightful. And he wanted some questions to be answered about the magic in his family because he didn't know. And his family was mostly like most of our families are. You know how everything is like hush hush when it comes to the magic in his family. And he wanted to know who can he actually talk to about the history of the magic in his family. And I was able to give him specifically who he can go to talk to about that. What particular deity he can actually go to be able to help him with this. And it was just an amazing reading, and talking to his ancestors, they were such a delight, and they told me so much about this customer. It was just an absolutely wonderful reading for him, and I was just so happy to be able to give him this wonderful reading. It's really amazing to be able to give people these readings, these products that's really going to help them, and be able to give back to the community, because this is what Moonlight Potions and Charms is about. We want to help you to embrace the power of your own magic. That is what we are all about, is to help you to do that. Book now and allow our wonderful staff to take care of your spiritual reading needs. And there is so much more in our Wicked store to help you to embrace the power of your own magic. So come on in to Moonlight Potions and Charms at www.moonlightpotionscharms.com and discover the wicked things that ignite the magical passion in you. Have you heard? The King of the Crossroads, Papa Legba, has graciously opened the roads, paving the way for the Papa Legba Altar on the Go to be nominated as Outstanding Product of the Year in the 2024 Witchcraft and Occult Media Awards. Makes Papa Legba Altar on the Go stand out? Complete traveling altar kit. Everything you need for sacred space is right at your fingertips, all neatly arranged in a mystical painter's pail. And it's compact and convenient. A perfect, powerful temporary altar, whether you're a modern nomad, a military soul on the move, or a wanderlust-stricken traveler. It also has additional space for the personal touch. As customization is a key to your spiritual journey, the Papa Legba Altar on the Go leaves room for you to infuse your unique energy. Moonlight Potions and Charms and Papa Legba invites you to join the spellbinding spectacle at the 2024 Witchcraft and Occult Media Awards. Cast your vote for the Papa Legba on the Go as the Outstanding Product of the Year. Your support fuels the magic. go to https://rb.gy/PC3F11 to cast your vote. Remember, your altar is not just a space, it's a step in your magical journey. Explore the depths of your inner self by visiting Moonlight Potions and Charms at mpcmagic.com. Be ready to embrace the power of your own magic. Have you wondered what spirituality is? Spirituality is limitless, as it does not contain any boundaries on beliefs or practices. Spirituality's most important component is personal experience and allows one to explore it freely. Evermoving We Rise is a spiritual moving tradition, as our name is our lifestyle, because we are persistently rising and moving forward. We realize that everyone's spiritual journey is extremely personal, but more easily traveled with reinforcement. We'll teach you to become friends with your shadow, emerge your authentic self, and give you time and space to develop your own spirituality. And when situations bump back, you'll have the entire community behind you, as we are a magical family who work to sustain each other. Discover the benefits of working within a society dedicated to helping you grow on your personal path. Visit us on our website, Linktree, or Facebook page and discover why we don't fit in the box.
And welcome back to Witch Hat Chats. This is Saul Ravencraft. I am here, of course, with Miss Nikki Kirby. We've been talking about the storm because Nikki was all up in the middle of that and is still dealing with it. The news has pretty much forgotten about North Carolina with everything right now, but some people are still living it right now. And like she said, we do have a GoFundMe to help her personally with things. She's in line to get some help with FEMA, but there is a line, and it's all harder than it needs to be. And I'm sorry for that.
Oh, yeah. But let's see what our divination is for today.
Our divination is going to make you laugh because it happens to fit in a little bit of what you were talking about. It says, better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to speak and remove all doubt. There's some question.
I think a certain candidate needs to understand that concept, don't you?
Right. Well, there's some question as to where the quote came from. So it was attributed to Abraham Lincoln at one point, and it was also attributed to Mark Twain. The truth is that it probably came from a Mother Goose book at some point, which there's wisdom all over, isn't there? Right. So, but I can relate to this quite a bit. I think most of the trouble I get into, I'm talking. So I've rarely had trouble when I didn't say anything. But you know, is what it is, I guess.
You know, that was a quote I used to tell my ex-husband a lot.
Right?
Because he always was such a fool.
Right? Did it help? Did he heed the advice?
He didn't understand it.
Right. Well, and a lot of it, yeah, I was raised with this idea of trying to be smart, to show I was smart, and that had varying success. I think you show you're smart by doing smart things, not talking about it. But the truth is that, especially with social media and all those kinds of things, we seem really driven to put our 2 cents in to things, and often it's not helpful. It's not useful. I'm trying to do better about not entering into things. I had something the other day where someone had written something and they were trying to help, but they couldn't help but do it insultingly. And so I wrote a somewhat sarcastic response, thanking them for their masterclass. And then I realized that none of that was helpful. None of that was useful. I deleted all of my clever response and I wrote, "Thanks for the assist. We'll handle." And didn't have to take it personally. I've had several things where people are talking about stuff on social media, and I just want to jump in there. And usually I just don't have to. I need to just shut up. And it takes practice sometimes to do that.
Mhm.
But I'm getting better at it. So
Yeah.
I'll be quiet for the rest of the show and let you take it from here.
No. It's the thing about it is a lot of times they end up showing themselves as a fool. A lot of times, and it's laughable. You know, I sit there. It's like let's see, it's like horror movies.
Right.
You know, um, where you have the girl and she runs and she breaks, in high heels, high heels
Right.
are like 9 inches high
Sure.
and she's running and then she breaks the heel. Oh my
Right.
God. And she falls down and she goes, ah, help me, ah. And I'm like, girl, take that damn heel and beat the hell out of him with it. That's what the heel is for.
Right.
Beat the hell out of him with it. Or take your car keys and whip his butt with it. I mean, come on. This is you know, I was brought up to where you took anything and you turned it into a weapon. It didn't matter what it was. You turned it into a weapon because it was either you or it was them. You didn't allow them to um, defile you.
Right.
And if they did, you was going to take them with you.
Sure.
That was the rule. Because unfortunately, women get treated extremely awful in this world, you know? And we have to fight in order just to be seen as an equal
Right.
in this world. And it it's seen in everything that we do. It's seen in movies, television, and literature. It's seen everywhere in our cultures. In every culture, it is seen in that culture. There's
Right.
not a place in this world where women are seen as equals or
Sure.
even women are seen as better. We have to fight in everything. And so if you're going to be, seen as somebody who is not equal or anything like that, take whatever you got and turn that into an advantage. Um, I mean, that's the way I kind of look at it. And people sit there and they ask me, why do you laugh all the time?
Hmm.
Well, either you laugh at things or you cry.
Right.
And people are not going to sit here. If you cry, you're going to cry alone. Okay. I come from a life of pure horror. Absolutely pure horror is in my background. And what did you guys expect? Me to cry all the time about it? Crying got me nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. But when I
Mm.
learned to laugh about things and I saw things in a different perspective, then I was always able to fight and I was always able to get through things a lot easier.
Yeah.
It's like that's one reason why I liked Buffy the Vampire Slayer was
Right.
because she took things and she fought back.
Hmm.
She wasn't this little, oh my God, help me, help me, help me. She took her high heels and she went and she beat the crap out of them.
Right.
You
Right.
know?
Absolutely. Well, and I like to think that we are experiencing changes in the appreciation of women, the understanding of women. Um, I've certainly seen a big change in what they'll show on TV for feminine hygiene commercials, right?
Oh yeah. And
You know,
and male hygiene commercials especially. I have seen, and I never thought I would ever seen this. They've got a male hygiene commercial now that shows you the how to they've got a razor that is specially formatted to shave male balls. That's what it's designed for.
oh, there you go.
And it's an electric razor. Yes. And I saw that. I've seen it like 5 times now.
But I think it's really important that
Like, gee,
that we're able to be open about the fact that women have periods and what that is,
yeah,
and that it's not weird and it's going to keep happening, and it's a
yes, but they're
thing.
more open about women than they were about men. Have you ever noticed that?
Well, no, no, because I remember there have always been commercials for things, but they were when I remember in the 80s, these things tended to be, really metaphoric. And if you didn't know what they were talking about, which is as a young person, I didn't always know what was what was part of the commercial. Then you could have plausible deniability, but now I feel like they're much more open about the the subject matter, the problems that they're trying to solve, and quite honestly, I think it's weird for men to sort of try to shield themselves from the idea that women menstruate.
Well,
That shouldn't be weird. That should just be
well,
normal.
the thing that really got me was they could show a woman being raped on TV and that was rated PG-13. However, if they showed a man's penis on television or anywhere um, kind of indicating that portion of the male's body, that was always rated R.
Right.
If they could show a female getting raped, it was PG-13.
Well, and I've been noticing a lot more penises popping up, so to speak, on different shows that I'm watching. There's a series on Max that the Righteous Gemstones, which actually was a really good series. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Game of Thrones. You know, you've they've been less squeamish about the penis than they have been in the past, which to me is a sign of things equalizing in some way. Someone's where I'm not articulating this well, so removing all doubt about my foolishness, but I'm seeing changes in addressing all of this kind of stuff, equality and nudity, being more forthright with the realities of women, right, in general.
Not really.
And
Not really, because I'm going to say something here. Not really, because in a way, when you go to Max and when you go to HBO and all of those, they're still registered R. They're not registered PG-13.
well, but even in an R-rated movie, it would be very unusual to see a penis, right? Full frontal nudity on the woman, yeah, sure, but it was very, very rare to show a penis. I mean, even in movies that were noted for being really, really racy, right? The showing the penis was crossing the line into porn, the way that people looked at it, and I'm seeing a change. To me, it's not sweeping change. Everything's better now, right? But I am seeing incremental difference in what people will tolerate and what they're being exposed to, and I think it's a good thing. I really do. I think it's a positive sign of moving in the right direction. That Aquarian shift is happening. This is going to take a while. It's not going to be done by Tuesday. So
But still,
you can look
it's
forward
not
to many, many
really the
penises
same.
in your future.
Or that bentcarrot.com.
There you go.
But still, I don't believe it's really the same though, because it I'm sorry, to me, if you've seen one penis, you've seen them all. I've always been that way. Uh it just doesn't impress me. All right. If you've seen one, you've seen them all. Um I mean, hell, you couldn't even say the word penis without it having to be rated R.
Right. And how many times have we said it today?
Hell, you couldn't even say the word vagina
Right.
without it being rated R.
You barely said it there.
Which, by the way, they do have a book out on divination of the vagina too. So, just to let you know
Right?
that. Are you interested in that? So,
Well, I'm pretty sure that I will not be doing vagina readings at a metaphysical fair anytime soon. I think that's a little outside my market.
and when you do, we will announce that on Witch Chat Chats. So, it's called Bova.
Yeah.
That's what it's called. It's called Bova. Um,
No, I'll stick with palms for the moment.
oh, I love you, Saul. I swear. You're awesome. But I bet you go get that book. Anyway.
Right.
All right. This was fun.
It has been fun. It's been a while since we've just been silly. Uh, and we need to be able to be a little silly in the middle of all the serious stuff that's going on. Speaking of which, I know that all of that uh, is moving around. And hang on a second, I'm gonna try to get this set up the way that it needs to be, as we've played with everything recently. But this is something we gotta deal with, and that is casting that vote.
Oh yeah, we got to
There's
cast that vote.
my early voting is starting here, I think Monday, and I just cannot wait. I'm very anxious and excited to do it. I have confirmed that my voter registration is valid, because I do not live in one of those places where you can do same day voter registration. You got to have all that worked out ahead of time. And
Yep.
so I've confirmed that everything's ready. I know where I'm pointed, and just let me at it. And I hope that everybody here has given thought as to what they want for their future, for everyone's future, and that you are prepared. I cannot believe who could possibly be undecided about anything right now. But decide. get
Oh
that
yeah.
get that stuff worked out, and go and vote. And do not. So here's the thing. Anyone that is trying to convince you that your vote does not count is selling something, right?
Hmm.
They are doing their best to they're trying to convince you that your vote doesn't count because they are afraid of your vote. And what's the
Hmm.
best way to take care of that? Well, let's eliminate it. Let's make sure you don't get to. There are some people that are trying to use legal shenanigans to get rid of votes that they don't want. We've talked about gerrymandering, which I just think is one of the most evil things in the world, to carve up voting districts and things like that to manipulate how neighbors are able to support each other with their votes, right? But the main thing that has impact is to convince you that you shouldn't even bother. Don't even
Right.
bother. And if you don't like the choice, and you can't, you just don't vote for the lesser of two evils. Just don't vote at all. And get used to that. Get used to not voting. Other people will handle all that for you. You just do what you're told.
Well,
Now, no.
okay, so let me tell you something. I live in one of those swing states. I live in the state of North Carolina where they do that jury bullshit. Okay. So, and I also live in the state in which you really do need to vote, especially for not only for who's going to run our country, but who's going to run our state. All right. It's really truly important who's going to run our state. Okay. Because not only who's going to run our country, but who's going to run our state. Because not only will our country be running backwards, but our state will be running really backwards.
Well, and right now there's been a lot of work to take uh, governance from the Fed and push it down to the state. We've seen this with abortion rights. that they took away the federal mandate for that, and they said, well, the states can do whatever they want, and there are other things going in that direction. So it does matter who is
Right.
running things in your state, because if it comes back and you're not participating in that, and you're not getting the right people in to support your own rights, and to do things the way that you want. And you may be of a perspective that there needs to be more control over things, and you can go be in a state where that happens. But if that's not the way you look at things, then you need to make sure that you're putting people in that agree with that will fight for that, and no one's going to do that for you. You got to go cast the vote. And I'll tell you the other thing that is really important. Even when we do vote, not everything is necessarily going to go the way we want. Okay? We'll fight as hard as we can for what we want, and then stuff happens, right? That's just life. But we can't despair. We cannot despair. We cannot go, oh my gosh, we lost, we're done, and put our head down, right? We got to continue to engage with it, because even if it didn't happen this time, there's next time and the next time. And we can go hold their feet to the fire, right? If these people want to be in charge, fine. They can take our direction. They can deal with our messaging and our input on everything, because they work for us, and we forget that. We really do. So no matter how anything goes, we have to continue to be involved and continue to advocate for what we need. We got to do it. We got to do it no matter what happens.
This is how we hire and fire our people. This is how you hire and fire people. And also, I don't know about Saul's state. Saul lives in Texas. I live in North Carolina. They're talking about this one candidate I'm talking about that you don't want for governor. He's talking about bringing slavery back. That's what he's talking about. He's talking about making abortion illegal, period, for everything. Doesn't matter whether a child who is 5 years old or a child who is 10 years old gets pregnant. It doesn't matter. He doesn't care. It doesn't matter what he's talking about with LGBTQ communities. He doesn't think that anybody should have the rights that they have now.
Well,
He wants
and
to take
everybody needs to do their own looking to what candidates are saying and what their
what I'm telling
platforms
you,
are.
this is what I'm telling you. Go do your research. Go vote. That's what I'm telling you.
Yeah, that we gotta do it.
That's what we need to do. And we've got early voting already started in North Carolina. And just go do it. Okay? Do that now. And if somebody is threatening you not to vote, because it does happen, unfortunately, in everywhere. I know it happens here. Just let them know. You can threaten me all you want to, but you're not going to stop me. Period. End of story. And if they're stepping in your way, tell somebody. Make a fuss. Because once you start making a fuss, especially if you are at the voting place, they will back off. And there are always people that will take you to the voting places. You can call the voting place, and they know people who will take you there. Trust me. It doesn't matter whether you are one party or another, or if you're like me, if you're independent. Or I think they're non-affiliate now. Used to be independent. I'd rather be independent than non-affiliate. But anyway, whatever your party or non-affiliate or whatever you are, there are people that will take you to the voting place. Okay? So whatever you are, there are people that will take you. If you're not doing the absentee voting. So where there's a will, there's a way. So go cast your vote. All right. And with that, that is all for our day, our time. So embrace your power, support your community, keep your fuzzy babies, your family, your friends, and yourself safe, and have an absolute magical week, and go cast your vote.